I'm not dressed. This off my head. We're good?
Hold on.
Marcus, you have the prayers here.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening. It's 7 o'clock here in northern New Jersey. This is the Tibet Center. Our Tibetan name is Kunchab Tarduling, the place pervaded by seekers of liberation. And this is our twice-weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma, specifically topics from the Lamrim, or stages of the path. All the prayers we say are on our website, thetibetcenter.org. In the FAQ section, scroll down to prayers. If there is anyone who has passed away recently, or maybe not so recently, that you wish us to pray for when we do Sutra of the Three Jewels, place their names in the chat box. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of Ozzy Osbournes. So don't bother writing that one. We got that already. So we'll start with the prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and the breadth of the West by the previous Yongzen Ling Rinpoche. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems, and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there, together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra, Heart of Wisdom Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the Dharmas, called profound illumination. And at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? Then Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear, they transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awakened to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. Now, refuge in Bodhisattva vow. It's called Generating Bodhicitta. 3 verses, we say them each 3 times. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain, to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. And now, as is our custom established by Venerable Vreeland, we'll say 1 round, 1 rosary's worth of Om Mani Padme Hum, which is the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, who is the personification of great compassion, among other things. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Mantra is a good tool to keep in your pocket or wherever. You don't have to have a rosary anytime. Mantra means mind protection. Sometimes you're under a lot of stress, or your boss is like chewing you out for this or that. You're under your breath, you say Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, or whatever. So it's a nice gift from the enlightened ones, for our benefit. So tonight we're following this commentary on the Lam Rim, written by Yangtze Rinpoche. Actually, he didn't sit down and write the book page one on. These are his lectures that he gave over a period of time in Dharamsala, Tushita Center, and written down by a bunch of his students, and they did a good job. It's very well written. I never met Yangtze Rinpoche, so I don't know him, but I know his product. It's really good. It's easy to understand, which is what we're all about. So first, meditation. A few things. Page 141. This is Thrangu Rinpoche, the late Venerable Thrangu Rinpoche. He's a Kagyu Lama who has a Larampa Geshe degree given by His Holiness Dalai Lama. He's very well read, very erudite, knowledgeable in Sanskrit. And he has, this particular book has to be the Abhisamaya Alamkara, Ornament of Clear Realization. These are lectures he gave, people wrote down. And here and there are nice questions that are asked, and they're nicely presented, so they can be helpful. So here's a good question. What is the difference between, it's page 141 of this book, which is available at fine stores everywhere. Anyway, I go to the bookstore out of Woodstock. Namse Bangzo, they're online. Very good. What is the difference between non-conceptual samadhi, meditation on emptiness, and meditating beyond the spheres? The three spheres, when you do an action, you always think the giver, the object, and the receiver are all empty of inherent existence. You have to have that in the back of your mind. You're not in the equipoise of emptiness because you won't be able to give anything. But always have in the background of your mind post-meditation. So that's what the three spheres, elements, I don't know. So Rinpoche answers, non-conceptual samadhi refers mainly to shamatha, meditation, when the mind rests in a state of great peace and equanimity. One-pointed, you're not analyzing. Mind rests in a state of great peace and equanimity. In this state, thoughts rarely arise, so the mind is at peace without thoughts. There's some room there. Very nice. In this state, thoughts rarely arise, so the mind is at peace without thoughts. When we are resting in this state of samadhi, we are not concerned about whether we know the true nature or have actually understood emptiness or not. No. You're in this spacious, relaxed awareness.
But does it have an object?
No, I don't think so. Maybe the breath that put you there, something, but that I don't know. But it's not, you're not analyzing.
Yeah.
You're not asking about reality. You're using it as a tool, because from that rested state, you then start to analyze. This state is just peace or freedom from the troubling power of concepts. So you first suppressing a little, whatever you do by your discipline. That's the sequence of calm abiding and special insight. Calming the mind and discerning the real was the topic of one book, a translation of Sankapad's insight section of the Lam Rim. So that's one thing. So what does that do? Okay, meditation on emptiness, the second point this questioner asked, is realizing the true nature of phenomena. This state is arrived at through analysis and the direct perception in our meditation when we perceive how things truly are. The analysis suddenly becomes certainty, becomes a direct seeing, and Rinpoche, our Rinpoche, Rato Chungla Rinpoche, you can't see his face because I'm in the way, would say like you see your hand in front of you. Direct, that's it. No intermediary thoughts or anything. Direct. You've changed upon that perception. That's it. You are now an Arya. Congratulations. Pick up your diploma. No. Meditating on empty simply means meditating on the emptiness or insubstantiality of things. What does insubstantiality mean? One definition is that it's something you could think of without having to think of something else. And there is no such thing. Everything for its definition is relational. So that, but we think says this, that's that, substantial, stands on its own, including our minds. And that's not the case, so they say. I think it's the case, but I'm wrong. So, meditating beyond the three spheres, what is that? Refers mainly to the post-meditation experience when we cultivate all the paramitas. He's talking to a bodhisattva from the Vajrayana point of view, which is, Mahayana. So, the post-meditation experience, when we cultivate all the paramitas, we sit, develop understanding of the way things are, have direct realization, meditative equipoise, we might say, in non-inherent existence, whatever. And then, what else? We should sit there forever? No, we go out and practice generosity, patience, teach people, whatever. You do that with a mind that's referring back all the time and knows the way things appear aren't the way they are. And you have that power, that strength. So when we practice generosity in post-meditation, we do it without holding on to the idea of a giver, holding on or grasping. They like that word, grasping. It appears all over the place. All right. The idea of a giver, somebody receiving something, and what is given. When we practice the paramita of skillful means, upaya paramita, those are the 7th, 8th, 9th, there's 6 normally, but then they present 10 altogether. Upaya is a paramita, a skillful means. We do this without holding on to the idea of somebody keeping conduct, the conduct being kept, and the act of keeping it. You're not segregating these, conceptually isolating them from one another, etc. So, in other words, okay, give us some other words. Meditating on emptiness is more concerned with actual meditation, whereas resting beyond the three spheres refers mainly to our daily life. Meditation on emptiness, just sitting, you're meditating. Then you go about your daily life because you want to be a full Buddha. You have to practice the paramitas and start benefiting the world. So that's covered by beyond the three spheres designation. Okay, very nice. This book is very helpful. All of his books follow this pattern. They're from his lectures, and always have very good questions. And I found them helpful, blah, blah, blah. I bring them into class.
Can you repeat the thing about insubstantial?
Insubstantial, one of the definitions is you could think of it without thinking of something else. In other words, of itself, without being designated or anything, that thing is there.
If it is insubstantial.
If it's insubstantial, it's not. Things are insubstantial. But our common way of thinking is, that's a truck, that's a bicycle, whatever. No. You have to have concepts about it. And that's one definition. Substantiality comes to, some people think that everything is really not solid and you can put your hand through it and all that.
So this is a kind of a synonym for emptiness? Insubstantiality?
Yeah, insubstantiality of things, I would think so.
Yeah.
There's a very good presentation by Sanjay Kadra about how you say forest without trees. So you can't say there's no inherent forest. You have to refer to trees, and then you could say forest, something like that. In one of her introductions to the Madhyamika, the Prasangika tenets,
I see.
she gives us a lecture of a series of maybe 10, 12 lectures on stages of meditating on emptiness and the different schools online.
I see. A video.
Yes, it's a video. It's not action, but it's her sitting at the desk. But she's so good. And doesn't, very conversational, very well read. Great woman, great practitioner. She's been at it a long time. She's been studying. I think she's a monk since the 70s, earlier than Nikki, maybe closing in on 50 years now. Probably. Monk? No, she's a nun. She's not a monk. I'm all right. Doctor, get me out of here. How to develop a meditation practice. We're talking about page 76 of this Practicing the Path, the Path. Same thing, word for meditation and as His Holiness. We went over this same topic Monday night when we read from His Holiness's book, From Here to Enlightenment, which was a digest of his Lamrim lectures given in Lehigh, Pennsylvania. Lehigh University, or Lehigh College, something like that. So anyway, same topic now from this point of view. The word for meditation in Tibetan Gom means to become familiar. Familiarity is accomplished either through analytical meditation or by concentrating single-pointedly on a particular subject. And it's in a sequence. You calm the mind and then you use analysis. And the old trick is, when you're calming the mind, you don't analyze anything. You don't do discursive thinking. Let's see, but this is this, then that's that. You're just watching a certain object, the image of the Buddha, whatever, to tame the mind. Stop it dancing around all over the place. Once you achieve what they call calm abiding, which is also a physical thing, the mind and body become pliant. You do it, you don't get tired, you have energy, consciousness and winds are more or less in sync. At that point, you enhance your concentration by analyzing. Once you have calm abiding, then you can analyze again. You're analyzing with a very powerful, tamed mind. Then you proceed quicker. That's the point. There are different techniques to doing that. I'm told there are tantric techniques that rather than sitting there for 30 years like this, I don't know. But Tantra would use the principle of energy and consciousness together. They would activate energies that push consciousness a certain way, I would think. But all these lamas are running around and giving lectures and stuff. Ask them. So of the two methods, establishing familiarity through analysis is more effective. The beginning student thinks they're supposed to sit there and go in some trance and everything, but right now, no. And analysis is very, very important because you're sitting there and you want a calm mind, but you didn't suppress a lot of the natural questions you have in your mind by analyzing. Oh, of course. So you give the mind a break. You give your whole being a break by not worrying, is there something I didn't cover while I'm trying to concentrate? So it's very, here the presentation is analysis first. If we think about it, we are not strangers to analytical meditation at all. I'm on page 76 still. If we are angry with someone, for example, we contemplate an entire list of reasons for our anger. One reason supports the next reason, and that supports the next, and so forth, and before we know it, we have completely justified our anger with this person, and we are boiling. He didn't say that. On occasions such as these, we analyze the situation from every possible angle in order to validate our anger. I hate my boss because, well, bang, bang, bang. We use the analytical process to examine our objects of desire from every angle in a similar way, building up support for what? The mind of attachment. So all these attachments that we have, we're doing it to ourselves. We're giving it energy it doesn't have. We're giving it a status it doesn't have because, frankly, we haven't seen reality directly. So any of our estimations about what's going on are corrupt. It works the same way in meditation on the Lamrim. We can engage in an analytical process in support of virtue, examining it from every angle to completely validate it, or we can engage in an analytical process to counteract non-virtue, examining it from all sides to defeat it. And His Holiness mentioned that last Monday night in his text. He looking at things from all angles to get the full picture. If we then engage in single-pointed meditation on the result, key word of such analysis, our meditation will become extremely effective. So why do I meditate and nothing happens? Well, here's part of the reason. It's a very systematic approach. It's not you just, I'll just sit here and I'll be calm and that's it. Very nice, and that's me. A lot of people like that. It's like a bath for the mind, but then what? Back on the pile of ignorance? So, yeah, anytime. This is a discussion. It's not,
I don't understand what a single-pointed meditation on the result of an analysis would look like?
You absorb yourself in the meaning that you've discovered. For instance, you've decided that someone is a very nice person, and he or she did this, and boom, 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 and you get a nice, strong feeling of affection towards them, and you would hold that and absorb. Why? Because the more time you spend on these ideas, the more the mind is imprinted or affected. You're planting karmic seeds about how nice this person is at something, and what does that happen? It creates reality. You like the person.
So say you've done a contemplation on virtue, which is kind of what he's
Right.
talking about. You've analyzed why virtue is good, and I'm going to be more virtuous. What would how would you focus your single-pointed meditation on?
Well, why virtue is good for the reasons empower that most. The reason if I practice virtue, I won't suffer in the future. Number one, what's in it for me? Always a good angle. Hey, you have to convince yourself of this as much as you can. So you get a feeling of certainty at a certain point. That's when you hold that. It may even come with a feeling of elation or a feeling of great relaxation or feeling of comfort. You've decided so-and-so is going to be your teacher after it. And you would absorb that thought, yes. And then, of course, that doesn't last long at all. It weakens. And you find this, you redo the reasons again. Because you want to imprint your mind in that way. You want to achieve what you set out to do.
Okay, so you might, if you feel elated after analyzing the reasons for being virtuous, then try to hold on to that feeling of elation.
Somewhat. Built on reason, not on a prejudice, or not on, he really smiles nice. Never mind.
Yeah.
You think in totality.
Okay.
He or she is teaching this. This is good medicine. They put it very nicely.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand everything they said, but you examine it more. Certain things start to enter the mind, and I didn't know that. That's a nice feeling when you learn something you didn't know. It's a confident, relaxed feeling by nature. You don't like being ignorant. It's things like that. You have to watch and you have to learn your mind, how it acts when it comes to a certain conclusion. How'd you decide to marry a husband? Well, you didn't think, you were young and you didn't get things like that. Well, people that really think these things through, or decide to have children. It's a big thing. You use reasoning, or you shouldn't, but I don't think the world does that, but you want to buy a house, you better think a lot. And then we say, that's it, that house. That's the one that we want. After you analyze this, comes a feeling of certainty. And there's an energy there, and you pick up the phone and you say, hello, yeah, that's what we want. I don't know, something like that. The idea of getting used to cause and effect and acting virtuous because of that, it seems to help a lot for me. Because everything is pulling me towards this thing based on what? My old habit patterns. But then you step back with analysis. And when you finally break out of your old habit patterns of what a church guy would, of course not, that's not going to work. That's a nice feeling, and you would hold on to that. And of course reinforce it. I guess great meditators just like that, they'll think of something, they'll go into their absorption like that and cut it off when they want. I don't know.
Is the object, it seems, so it refers to the result of your, doing single-pointed meditation on the result of your analytical. So it seems to me the result could be either a thought, means a conclusion,
Or a feeling.
or a feeling.
Yeah.
So.
You hold a feeling.
Yeah.
Feeling was made by thoughts.
But do you think it's better, or it's intended to be a feeling rather than a thought?
It has to be a feeling sometimes.
It has to.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Certain things.
Yeah.
And a breakthrough into emptiness, I would imagine, is some feeling. Look what Sankapa did when he finally, hey, he wrote that wonderful book.
But then, if you're meditating, for instance, on impermanence,
right,
that might be more of a conclusion than a feeling.
but it would be accompanied when there's certainty of that impermanence.
Uh-huh.
It's not an overwhelming rapture, but then you realize, what am I getting excited about this thing? Worrying about this thing broke? Hello, everything breaks, everything is moving. And when you do meditation on impermanence, always remember momentary, in motion, all the time, because that's reality. We don't feel that. We don't feel the earth spinning at whatever it is, 900 miles an hour or 1,500.
I guess.
But we don't feel it. We're sitting still. We can't rely on our sense consciousnesses and the assumptions we have about reality based on that input. It's not in sync with reality all the time, most of the time. I think. Feeling, or that's a good point, though. The feeling or conclusion.
Maybe I have to look in the Lamrim Chenmo.
Yeah, it's probably here. You might mention it. I probably read it 5 times and don't remember any of it. I find things where I wrote notes and I said, oh, it's like I'm learning it for the first time. Notes from like 10 years ago. Hey, welcome to old age. I don't like it. But this is what you're talking about is the whole crux of the whole matter. Going into our mind and changing the normal habit patterns and the assumptions we have about reality, which affect our perceptions. A Buddha's perception, his sense conscious, are not stupid. They know everything at once. We have that seed in us to be that way. He said, Yangtze Rinpoche, one of his lectures I saw, we are clairvoyant. We're just covering up the ability. So we shouldn't worry about these things. And it's no big deal to be clever. That's not what we're interested in. But this is the whole thing, and we could talk about, we should talk about this. Advertising uses this. They'll quickly give you should do this, boom, 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 and you should picture yourself having this, the result, like Tantra. Meditate on the result of having this thing. And then there you are, running to the store, writing the check. Maybe we should hire a good salesman to give Buddhist lectures. Furthermore, the imprints that we create in our minds during conceptual analysis are far more important than the imprints we create with single-pointed concentration alone without analysis. He's not saying that you don't, you just do single point. You don't do single point. Yes, you do that, and you do analysis. The two have to be, that's their method. The stronger the imprints within our mind, the greater the influence our understanding will have on our behavior. The understanding affects your behavior. It's about 10 lines up in the bottom, or 8 lines. This paragraph that starts with furthermore. So the imprints we create in our minds during conceptual analysis are far more powerful than the imprints we create with single-pointed concentrations alone. You do imprint the mind with single-pointed concentration, but without analysis, it's weaker. The stronger the imprints within our mind, the greater the influence on our understanding. The greater the influence our understanding will have on our behavior, on the way we think or act. If we are able to make strong imprints in our minds, we will experience their influence even in our sleep and at the time of death, very important. Positive imprints activated at the time of death ensure that positive karma will ripen for the future lifetime. Oh good, we like this. This is how we travel. You think so, Grace? No? You agree or not agree? Me neither. From the perspective of long-term meditation, we should maintain our object of meditation until we notice some positive effect on our mind. If we constantly change our object, one day meditating on Guru devotion, another day on precious human birth, another day on impermanence and death, for example, it will be very difficult for us to generate the realizations of a particular subject. This is a topic Chungla Rinpoche always talks about. Concentrate on one part of the Lamrim as best as you can. And of course, once a day, do the whole, that's why that short poem about the whole, have an idea where this fits. But concentrate on one topic. And that's what they do. Nikki does that. He would, in the old days, he went through the Lamrim meditating on each topic. So, and then he became a monk. I don't know. But he's forced to do it. So if you want a realization, you got to stay on it. as beginners. Kai Yogi just, I'm sure Lingam Rinpoche looks at a page and he already got the whole thing down. Especially if we're in extended retreat, we should persevere with our meditation on one topic until we have gained an experience of it. We're adapting this to our lifestyle here. We have no choice. How many of us can go on extended retreats? 6 months, 3 months. 3 months even is hard. And that's, so we have to take this advice and do what we can with it. And also, while we are focusing on a particular topic, for example, on impermanence and death, we should try to see everything that happens to us in the course of the day in the context of that subject matter. So you'll have the concentrated periods of meditation, and then as you go through things, constantly refer back to it. Not hard to do with something like impermanence, because you could see that all over the place. When we walk, we should reflect on impermanence and death, but watch where you're going, I say. When we sit, we should focus on impermanence and death. When we sleep, the same. What? Am I going to wake up or not? If I'm not writing that bill. I'm not paying that. We should reflect on impermanence and death with every activity, body, speech, and mind. If we focus in such a concentrated way, we'll be able to bring about change in our minds and move closer to enlightenment. There's the character. Of course, in reality, we should remember that without realizing emptiness, there is no way to attain liberation or enlightenment. This is a frequent technique of him. He constantly injects emptiness. He'll give you a little bit of that, but don't forget the underlying reality which you're in and you don't think you're in. Don't forget. What's it? Nam de mente ka, right? In Italian. The wisdom that realizes emptiness is the antidote to the ignorance that is the root of cyclic existence. If we engage in all these practices while grasping strongly at true existence, we are only creating a difficult situation for ourselves. Big, big point. This may not be easy to understand because ordinarily our minds grasp with such force at the inherent existence of I and phenomena. It's such a given. It's such a natural feeling in one way. I'm here, I'm solved. No, you're not. They'll tell you you're insubstantial. In fact, this I that we hold to be so important does not exist from its own side, does not inherently exist or truly exist. It is existent, however, and the way in which it exists is as a mere imputation. Sometimes Chola will say a mere nomination from us. Named. Oh, it's Darren? Hope he's all right.
Communing with the deer.
I see. The basis of imputation is the mind and body. How do we come to the conclusion that there's an I? Well, I think, and I have a body, there must be some captain running the whole show. That's the I. That's one steps of meditating on the non-inherent existence of the I. It's like a captain running a ship or a company, executive in a company. When the mind imputes the label I, the I does not exist from the side of the basis of the imputation. So it's not in the body, nor does it exist from the side of the imputing mind. But again, it does exist as a mere imputation. I'm sure the Damdal talks about Sam being the word for mere imputation. Geshe Damdal. For example, a center director does not exist from his or own side, nor does she truly exist. She exists as a valid mind imputing a valid label, director, on a valid basis of imputation. That's all there is to existence. That's it. So why are we getting so excited? Why are we worried about it? You get the idea? You can't call anybody who shows up a director. Well, if they're only named, there's a director. No, it has to be a valid reason for doing it. And that's it. But
so that doesn't refer to her mind.
No, the mind that's imputing it. She exists as a valid mind imputing a valid. How do we come to call that someone named as? She's the director now. There's nothing inherent in her. When she was born, she wasn't the director.
Mhm.
Or was she? Maybe some people are born to the throne. I know somebody who's imputing himself as king or whatever. The director does not exist on the basis of imputation alone without the imputation of a valid mind, because if she existed without a valid mind imputing the label director from the very beginning, she should have been that. That's it. Oh, here's a director. It's relational, depending on a designating consciousness. But people, when they get these titles, I remember guys in the military, they got a few extra stripes, all of a sudden they were above everyone. It was just designated, hello, you did, that's it. But people have this problem of solidity, and then solidity. They carry that with them, and they're defending a fort that really doesn't exist. And they get aggressive, or they this, or they want to grab things for it. It's not there the way you think it is. And that's the problems of the world. And I'm part of it all. I love to be part of the problem. Perhaps you're thinking, this Lama should teach Lamrim without so much explanation of the view. But what is the purpose of doing the preparatory practice? Not just to pass time. The purpose is to prepare our minds to realize the three principal paths. Of course, we have the long-term goal of enlightenment in mind, but along the way we do preparatory practices, Mangal offerings, and so on. They say you got to make merit to understand these things. That's one of the things that they'll use the word merit for that. Your mind improves when you have more merit, and you purge, not only gather merit, but purge the affliction or the past behaviors that you've had by regretting your past behavior. That's the power of confession. It's all in the regret. I was really stupid. Why did I do that? And when you have that real strong feeling, you won't do it again. They used the analysis. You drank poison, and you saw how a few guys drank poison, a few guys died, and you didn't yet. Why did I do that? You run for the antidote. Something like that. If we do all these things without some idea of the ultimate view, then the merit field itself will appeal to us as truly existent, and we will grasp it as being so. Tricky, tricky, tricky. And yes, I had a vision of someone. Do you think he's inherent existence? Well, you missed the boat. It's contaminated. It's a good thing, but if it's not combined with the idea of non-inherent existence, true reality, it's somewhat contaminated. Concentrating on these things are good. You get a good rebirth, but you won't break out of samsara. Big problem. We want out. We're in jail. In this case, even if we have strong faith, as we meditate upon it, our practice will be polluted. Perhaps some of you are new to Buddha's teachings. Perhaps some of you already have some understanding. Perhaps some of you are bodhisattvas here. Perhaps some of you are already enlightened. Who knows? I like that. If any of you feel more interest in researching the topic of the way that phenomena exist and have a little bit of courage, there are many books available to help you. For instance, Geshe Sopa Rinpoche has written Cutting Through Appearances, which is still around. It's a very good book. Short, half of the book is dedicated to the schools and everything. And you get a good outline. It's really a big relief to have that book around. Includes a detailed explanation of the philosophical schools and the view of emptiness, especially in its second part. Within a single session, he's saying, we should try to combine the practice of analytical meditation with single-pointed meditation. The understanding of the subject that we come to through analysis should be the basis upon which we cultivate single-pointed concentration. What does Sankapa say? You show a horse one racetrack. That's where you race that horse. You don't take him to another one for the race. So, in those days, they had horse racing. For example, if we are working on the topic of seeing the spiritual teacher as a Buddha, we should examine the reasons it is necessary to do this, the benefits of doing this, and how it is possible to do this. It's like a business analysis, cost benefit. Having undergone this analysis, we come to the certainty that the Guru could not be anything but Buddha himself. Not because you like the way he or she sounds, or the way they look, and how they looked at you, and how they just said the one right thing at this time. Boy, that analyze. Especially if you're gonna go on to being a tantric student, you have to surrender a lot to the guru at that point. You better be very much in sync with that person. On the basis of that, pure faith arises and we apply single-pointed concentration using that state of mind as an object. Here's a hint. You know what he said? On that basis, of that analysis, pure faith arises. You're very more certain. And we applied single-pointed concentration using that state of mind as our object. It's pure faith. Hold it. He's saying hold it. It's a thought, probably a feeling, an emotion. Emotions are supercharged thoughts. Sounds like a police radio now. That's me. That's sick. But and I didn't do any drugs, I didn't drink. Wait a minute.
We got a situation here.
We certainly do. So let's skip to the, let's see, did I do the right thing here? No, I did not. 319, here it
Could I ask a question?
is. Sure, just talk and ask the whole crowd, everyone.
I think I think my question is related to the top paragraph on page 78, where he's talking about if we do all these things in the practice without some idea of the
Right,
ultimate view,
yeah.
then the merit field itself will appear to us as truly existent, and our practice will be polluted.
That's
And
right.
so we had a discussion on this in another group I'm in from Washington recently, and
The
the only
Nagarjuna
thing-
Center down there?
What?
That's the Nagarjuna Center? No, it's the Sakya Center.
Yeah. So we were talking about needing to combine the paramitas with emptiness, and that's kind of, I think, the same thing as he's
It must
saying
be.
here. And so the only way that I could understand that was that when you realize emptiness, you also overcome the negative emotions at the same time, and that the pollution.
No, it's stronger than the meditation. It's the negative emotions
Pardon?
go. Well, first, realization of emptiness doesn't get rid of everything.
Yeah.
It starts to.
Okay.
So on the bodhisattva levels, 7, 8, 9, all those things dissolve sequentially, piece by piece. So some people think there's an instant enlightenment. Well, compared to where you were walking around before, yeah, it seems pretty good. I would think.
It takes until the 8th bhumi, right?
The pure levels, 8, 9, 10, whatever.
So, but to.
Topic of this book, by the way, a very nice
Yeah,
breakout.
yeah.
It was good. Yeah.
I'm thinking that talking about your practice of the paramitas, or your practice being polluted, that it's being polluted by the negative emotions, but they're not really saying, it's not the way it's written here. They're
Polluted is
talking
not a strong a word. It won't get you out of samsara. That's how it's polluted. It'll get you a good rebirth. Very good.
Oh,
You know, all these things, very good. But you're not breaking out of jail. You're getting a better room. You're getting something like that's number one. Everything should be thought of from the point of view of emptiness, because it's the reality that we don't see, but it should be in sync with reality. And we're not. We're coming to the conclusion slowly that we're really blinded. And they use that expression, we're blinded without. They're just talking.
I wonder if what's going
This
on
is New
here
York,
is
interrupt.
that often the term negative emotions is used to refer to kleshas, afflictions.
Which disturb
So
the
it's
mind.
polluted. So maybe what this is trying. So, but you know, there's kind of this famous thing in translating the stuff, that translating klesha as negative emotion is kind of not really right, because
Affliction.
affliction, because ignorance is a klesha, but ignorance is not an emotion.
No, that's, Alan Wallace says the same thing.
Yeah, so
He
it is,
said the
yeah,
word
that's why I
emotion
heard
is
it
wrong.
That's,
And I
that's why
agree with
heard
him.
it. So maybe what this means is that it is polluted by afflictions. What the sentence
Polluted
maybe
by-
means is that it's maybe, but when it says negative emotions, it's maybe referring to kleshas. and it's just translated that way. So
Yeah, I
polluted
think
by
affliction.
afflictions. Would
Not
maybe
all
make a little
emotions.
more sense?
Wallace says the emotion of compassion is a good thing. How's that a klesha? You know, you can't say emotion. He's taking
Well, I mean,
argument
compassion
with
is
the
not a
word
negative
emotion.
emotion.
Some people use emotions and they sort of say that those are a bit. Here it's polluted because we don't have the final view of reality. Not having that, we get a lot of merit. Our minds are better. We're everything good, but we didn't break out of jail because we didn't see the underlying reality. Not seeing that, we're fertile grounds for afflictions to come and get us. They rely on the base of ignorance, of the way things are. And the lack of omniscience relies on that.
The way I've understood the statement that like the viewing the merit field as inherently existent kind of pollutes your practice. The way I've always understood that in practical terms is that when you do that, it will, like, you know, like when an ordinary person, not an Arya, prostrates to the Buddha and stuff, that they're viewing the Buddha as inherently real because they're viewing
That's the only way
viewing
we know
everything
now.
as inherently real.
That's
because they're
right.
not an Arya.
Absolutely.
So what
I
they're
agree.
doing is they are creating what we are doing is we are supposed to be doing anyway is we are supposed to be, by doing that, creating the karma that would propel us forward to eventually be able to realize emptiness. But if you never work on realizing the emptiness, on realizing any kind of emptiness, and you continue to do this, viewing the merit field as inherently existent, you will forever cycle in good rebirths.
I agree with you.
Is how I've always
I agree.
understood
Yeah, I
this.
think you're right.
Okay.
Mark?
I agree.
Okay.
Motion is passed.
All right.
Eugene gets $1 million.
No.
But also, as Tony said before, better rebirths can help us eventually realize emptiness.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
creating the cooperating conditions for us to do so.
Very
I
good.
guess
Cooperating
is
conditions, very good, yeah. We'll meet
the
with teachers.
technical.
We'll be in places where there are Buddhas working the benefit of the world. As I said, the wheel of the world is to say in the English text.
So does that mean emptiness is caused?
It's
The
already
realization
there.
of emptiness is
The
called.
realization,
Right?
very good.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody here is good stuff. This little sentence does a lot more than people think. That's true. That's exactly precise, the way they think. That's a wonderful thing, Eugene. Of course. Hold that laughter. Keep it going. Eons. I want to hear you laughing 50,000 years.
That's such a question of somebody who's been taking technical classes.
No, it's good. It's healthy.
But it's
Also-
weird to think about a little bit.
It's very weird to think. It's not natural, and then the rest of the world's not going to resonate with that meaning for you. They go, what? What? Huh? The idea of polluted, you have to, it's relatively polluted. Better than shooting something out the window, you know. You know. That's the problem. You got to learn to be mature with these words, and you know, see the relative meaning of the word. Polluted normally is real. Well, there was a better word for that. I don't know. What time is it? We have 7 minutes.
Better word than polluted.
Contaminated.
Contaminated, something like that, or maybe not fully aware of everything. Maybe you're seeing the object but not the full object. I don't know.
Misknowing.
It is an act of misknowing, they say.
Maybe tarnished with.
Ooh, tarnished.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, but
Like
whatever,
it's
we
still
can
a
argue
good
the word.
thing, but it's not
It's
perfect.
a good thing, yeah.
Yeah.
A tarnished piece of gold still gets you a lot of money. I don't know. It's hard to always make these metaphors up because they hit a blind alley after a while. Anyway, but that's the point. Everybody has the idea here. Of course, when we prostrate, even Rinpoche's picture, relating to him as inherently existent. He's here, he's talking to us. Since we didn't see the other side, that's all we know. People say, well, we see conventional reality. You can only use that term once you've seen emptiness. What we see is inherent existence. And we've heard that many times before, but it's true. What a pregnant, we want to see what he said later on. Did he stay with his?
Did you say 315?
No, where the heck is it? Here it is, 319, I believe. Just what, we don't have time to go through it anyway, so. He has a point here on page 321 about overcoming obstacles to the practice of bodhicitta. And he talks about the difficulties you would see. But we'll get started and then this is talking about meditation from the point of view of developing bodhicitta. And he says on page 320, the infinite thought. He uses this in a second paragraph down. In the training in the path and practice of the great scope, the infinite sense of loving kindness, compassion, the extraordinary supreme thought are the three mental states that make up the actual generation of the mind benefiting others. So how do you develop this particular mind? As I mentioned, the basis for cultivating a mind benefiting others, the recognition of sentient beings as one mother, one's etc., etc. The sevenfold, seventh step rather. When altruistic, I'm skipping, aspiration to attain enlightenment only for the benefit of sentient beings arises spontaneously, effortlessly, and intuitively in our minds. Nothing about emptiness right now. We have generated a conventional bodhicitta. We thus enter the Mahayana path of accumulation and become a bodhisattva, worthy of veneration and homage, etc. and so forth. Some people say only when you have first level, when you're an Arya, because first level bodhisattvas have seen emptiness directly in their Aryas. What I was pointing out here is how you keep the mind soaked in these ideas and then they break into a spontaneous, uncontrived, Wallace calls it, uncontrived bodhicitta. It's just you're it. You didn't see emptiness maybe. You're just practicing that track right now. So you could think these things, why? So you don't get depressed about not being able to understand or realize emptiness. Because at least here you have something you can get excited about. And yes, we don't have to be very smart, just have to concentrate and realize why we should and be upset about everyone else's suffering and we want to do something. So that's something we could do in our practice along with trying to understand emptiness so we don't get depressed and think we're not getting anywhere in life.
The first two bodhisattva paths do not require you to see emptiness. The first two bodhisattva paths, you do not see emptiness.
No, accumulation and preparation. Preparation for seeing, that's why it's called preparation. The Kagyu say joining, I don't know where they got that from.
But being on those bodhisattva paths is, you should not be depressed about that.
No, you shouldn't, that's right. That's right, that's the way I look at it. I'm always looking at the negative part, I want to be depressed. But yeah, but you're not. You're a worse, high being already. People go, well, this guy.
Yeah.
It's like the analysis that goes that a prince is born. The kid, is incontinent and everything, he has to be fed, but he's going to be king. So this kid gets special treatment. Similarly, a bodhisattva, when they get that idea, spontaneous, truthfully, really have the idea that person is now venerated by all the high beings because it is going to full Buddhahood, that being, not just a lesser liberation. So,
what is the point there? It's referred to certain points are irreversible, where it becomes irreversible.
Right.
I don't remember. I always forget.
Yeah, that's a big. Yeah, try and find out what Dom tells you.
Okay. I mean,
why don't you mic yourself and send it back to the United States?
Wear
a wire.
It's in meditation on emptiness, and in meditation on emptiness in that text.
Jeffrey Hopkins. Yeah, he that's a magnificent.
It's not Bisama Alamkar, right?
Yeah, that goes through all the bodhisattva paths and everything. It's an explanation.
The whole thing about irreversible bodhicitta and all that, right?
Probably. He has no index in this. That's the problem with his books. Whereas Jeffrey's got an index. Well, the new book, but quick question, because we have to close the class now. The books they're offering, the copies of Emptiness that they're offering now, is the new version, right? They're not selling the old version because I see it on Amazon.
Yeah.
I see it in Namo Banzai. So I'm going to get a copy. I like the whole
second edition. Yeah.
It's called the second edition.
Yeah, they went through and redid a lot of the terms and some things that he thought over the years he's had a different idea about what should be what it should be,
No,
so they
so, yeah.
changed. And then changing pronouns for today's world also.
Yeah, you have to do that. All right.
Yeah.
The original was quite old, right? So it would have had some like
It
non-standard
was a
translation.
thesis in 1977.
Yeah.
We bought the thesis, and I think 79 or so it came out as a book, 80.
Mm.
So that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot
Ouch.
of the terms would be very non-standard by today.
A lot of them went along with like Snellgrove, the early translators. So Rinpoche thought he was great because he listened to lamas and wrote down, not his own idea. So you should get.
Yeah.
So we all ordered it from University of Michigan. I think they're the ones who print all the theses out. I think it was, and we have it. One side of the page, the other side is blank. So the book's like this. And anyway, enough. We got that. Very good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Besides Ozzy Osbourne, Darren, any other names?
I have one. I have one.
Eugene.
Felix Baumgartner.
Felix Baumgartner.
Do you know who that is?
Sounds familiar.
He is a famous daredevil. He did the not the one in the 60s, the more recent one where he jumped from the edge of space.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I saw
He
the
died
time.
in an accident. He was 50 something.
The Daredevil. Let me see if we can eat a Costco hot dog and survive. Sutra the recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arhat, Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats, who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma which is taught by the Bhagavat is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path of liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. Now we have 8 verses for training the mind. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings, and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. And now a prayer for the swift return of Rato Chungla Rinpoche. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Lobsang Tubuang Dorji Chang, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers. Lord of speech of the victor Lobsang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you, till cyclic existence's end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel. Return as the glory of Losang Tempe. Magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karma Yama, and Srimata Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. So that concludes the class. I want to make a quick announcement. Watch our Tibet Center website in the next few weeks, because we are inviting a couple of new guests to come, and they may be coming in unusual times. So nothing is firmed up yet, but when it is, we'll let you know. So we should have a very productive next few weeks. The next Dharma event here will be Saturday at 1 o'clock, the White Tara Sadhana, and then the next Dharma class, Monday night in Midtown on West 30th Street at 7 o'clock. Check the website, all the details are there. Thanks so much, guys. Good luck to you all.